The day started like any other at the United Nations Senate Diplomacy Center. Computers hummed. Coffee machines dripped. Researchers typed on keyboards. Nobody expected everything to change in the next few hours. Dr. Ki Park sat at his desk, surrounded by screens and blinking equipment. He was a communication expert who had spent years preparing for possible alien contact. His team had created hundreds of translation algorithms. They had studied every possible way to talk to beings from another world. But nothing could have prepared them for what happened that morning. At exactly 9:17 a.m., the main communication screen flickered. Static danced across its surface. Then, suddenly, clear images appeared. The aliens were nothing like anyone had imagined. They looked like a mix between tall, thin trees and living crystals. Their bodies seemed to shimmer and change shape as they moved. Jae-sung Kim, Yoon-ki's closest colleague, dropped his coffee mug. The ceramic cup shattered on the floor, but nobody noticed. Everyone was frozen, staring at the screens. The alien transmission began slowly. First, a series of mathematical equations appeared. Then, complex geometric patterns. These were standard first contact protocols that scientists had predicted for decades. Each pattern was a way of showing intelligence, of proving communication was possible. But then something weird happened. The alien communication shifted. Words started appearing. Not complex scientific language, not mathematical equations, just simple human phrases that made absolutely no sense in this context. "Hold my beer" flashed across every screen in bright red letters. Yoon-ki blinked. He looked at Jae-sung. Jae-sung looked back. Neither of them understood what was happening. More messages followed. Warning. Critical 38 DETCT. Fisheries. Holding my beer equals maximum danger oblivion. Human behavior. Extreme risque protocol. The room filled with confused murmurs. Researchers looked at each other, wondering if this was some kind of joke. But the transmission was coming from deep space, verified by multiple satellite systems. This was real. Dr. Park slowly stood up. His hands were shaking slightly. He walked to the main communication panel and began typing a response. How do you ask an alien race why they're scared of a simple drinking phrase? Outside the building, the world continued as normal. People walked their dogs. Cars drove down streets. Children went to school. Nobody knew that first contact had just happened, and it was completely bizarre. The alien transmission continued. More data streamed in. Complex research files began downloading. Each file seemed to contain human video recordings, surveillance footage, amateur videos, professional documentaries, all tagged with the same warning. Holding my beer scenarios. Extreme CAU. Jae-sung started playing one of the videos. It showed a man standing on a roof. He was holding a bicycle. Next to him was a makeshift ramp made of wooden planks and what looked like a park bench. Behind the camera, someone was laughing. "I'm gonna try something awesome," the man said. Those words were followed by another alien translation. Preliminary extinction. EVENTDHTCTE. The video ended with the man crashing painfully but somehow surviving. The alien commentary read, "Human survival. 98.7% improbable. Actual survival. 100%. Dr. Park realized something important. These aliens weren't just making contact. They were studying humans, and they were terrified. More videos played. Each one showed humans doing something incredibly dangerous. Each one ended with the person surviving against all logical possibilities. The aliens kept adding notes. Risk ASCSSNENT, impossible, or survival PROBABILITY. Near zero were common annotations. By noon, the entire research center was watching these videos. Laughter mixed with confusion. Nobody could explain why aliens would contact Earth by discussing a phrase like "hold my beer" and showing clips of human stupidity and incredible luck. But one thing was clear. This was going to be a very strange first contact. Dr. Yoon-Ki Park looked at the screens. He adjusted his glasses, and he wondered what would happen next. 3 days after the first alien transmission, the world's top scientists gathered in a secure conference room. The walls were covered with massive screens. Each screen showed a different video. Each video seemed more impossible than the last. Dr. Yoon-Ki Park stood at the front of the room. Behind him, a massive projection displayed the aliens' official report. Comprehensive analysis of human, hold my beer scenarios. Jae-Sung Kim started the presentation. His hands moved quickly across the control panel. The first video appeared. A man stood on a ladder. He was trying to remove a hornet's nest. Instead of using proper tools or protective gear, he held a leaf blower in one hand. His friend recorded everything from a few feet away. "Watch this," the man said. The alien translation appeared. Imminent biological threat DETCTE. The video showed the man turning on the leaf blower. Hornets exploded from the nest. They swarmed around him like an angry cloud. Any reasonable person would have run, but not this human. Instead, the man started dancing. He spun in circles. He waved his arms. Somehow, incredibly, he survived with only 3 hornet stings. The alien commentary read, "Survival PURBABILIT 0.2%. Actual OUTSUONE. Complete survival." The room filled with nervous laughter. Next video. A young woman stood in her kitchen. She looked at a microwave. Next to the microwave was a very wet smartphone. Steam rose from the device. "I can fix this," she said. The alien translation appeared. "Technological self-destruction protocol initiated." She placed the wet phone inside the microwave, pressed buttons, waited. The phone didn't just not work. It practically exploded in a shower of sparks and melted plastic. But the woman wasn't hurt. She looked surprised but completely fine. Alien commentary. Device destruction. 100% complete. Human survival. 100%. More videos played, each one more crazy than the last. A man jumping a bicycle over a homemade ramp. The ramp looked like it was made from wood planks, a park bench, and what seemed to be pure hope. The alien translation called it the structural integrity, FAILURE, waiting to happen. A group of friends trying to move a heavy couch down a narrow staircase. Their method involved more yelling and creative physics than actual planning. The alien notes described it as a gravitational challenge of UNPRECDENTD stupidity. Someone trying to start a barbecue with what looked like way too much lighter fluid. The resulting fireball should have been fatal. Instead, the person simply looked shocked and slightly singed. Dr. Park watched the reactions of the other scientists. Some laughed. Some looked worried. Some looked impressed. "These are not isolated incidents," Jae-Sung explained. "The aliens have collected thousands of these videos. Each one shows humans doing something that should be impossible to survive." A senior researcher raised her hand. Why are they so interested in these moments? Before anyone could answer, another video started playing. A man stood on top of a moving car. He was trying to jump onto another moving car. His friends watched and recorded. The alien translation was simple and terrifying. Human survival, MECANISM. Unknown. Risky assessment. Does not compute. Recommendation. Maximum cohesion. The video ended with the man actually making the jump. Perfectly. Without a scratch. Dr. Park adjusted his glasses. "They're trying to understand us," he said quietly. "And they're scared of what they're learning." The room went silent. Outside, the world continued as normal. People drove cars, worked jobs, lived their lives. They had no idea that an alien civilization was watching their most ridiculous moments and trying to understand how humans could be so stupid and so incredible at the same time. On the screens, another video started to play. Another human was about to do something completely unbelievable. And somewhere, someone was definitely holding a beer. The United Nations called an emergency meeting. Not just any meeting. This was different. Scientists from every country sat around a massive round table. Screens covered the walls. Each screen showed another crazy human video that had scared the aliens. Dr. Elena Rodriguez stood at the center of the room. She was a top human behavior expert. Her job was simple but impossible. Explain why humans do crazy things. We need to understand something, she began. Her voice was calm. Her eyes were serious. The aliens are not just confused. They are scared. She clicked a button. A new screen lit up. It showed a man trying to ride a shopping cart down a steep hill. No safety gear. No planning. Just pure chance and crazy energy. Humans have a unique way of seeing the world, Elena explained. We don't just avoid danger. Sometimes, we run straight into it. Another video played. A person trying to move a heavy refrigerator using only a skateboard and hope. The alien translation appeared. Physical laws. Tempior erilois us bandid. Elena continued. What the aliens see as dangerous, we see as a challenge. What looks like stupidity to them is actually a complex survival method for us. Jae-sung Kim, who had been part of the first alien contact team, stood up. Can you explain this in a way the aliens might understand? Elena smiled. She loved this part of her job. Imagine a species that sees a cliff and thinks, I wonder if I can jump that. Most species would walk away. Humans, they'll find a way to jump, or build something to jump with, or create a crazy machine to cross it. She pulled up more videos. Each one showed humans doing something that should have been impossible. A man jumping a motorcycle over a line of cars. A group building a homemade rocket in their backyard. Someone trying to cook an entire turkey using only a blowtorch and pure determination. Our brains are wired differently, Elena said. We don't just solve problems. We solve them in the most complicated, dangerous way possible. The room was silent. Scientists from different countries looked at each other. They knew she was right. Evolution didn't just make us survivors, Elena continued. It made us creative problem solvers. When a normal species sees a wall, they stop. Humans see a wall and think, how can I get around, over, or through this? More videos played, each one more crazy than the last. A person trying to move a couch down a narrow staircase. Someone attempting to jump between two moving boats. A group trying to build a human pyramid on a slippery surface. The alien translations became more confused. Risk is imminent. Impossible. Survival probability. Near zero. Human urgency does not compute. Elena walked closer to the screens. What the aliens don't understand is that for humans, danger is just another word for opportunity. Jae-sung looked worried. But how do we explain this to a species that thinks completely differently? Elena's next slide showed something surprising. It was a chart, a complicated graph that showed human survival rates compared to other species. Humans survive not because we're the strongest, she explained. We survive because we're the most creative. We don't just adapt to our environment. We change the environment to fit us. The room was quiet. Everyone understood what she meant. Outside, the world continued as normal. People drove cars, worked jobs, lived their lives. They had no idea that their entire species was being studied by an alien civilization that was both terrified and fascinated. The aliens are trying to understand our hold my beer moments, Elena said. But what they don't realize is that those moments are exactly why we survive. She clicked one last button. A final video played. A human doing something so crazy, so impossible, that it defied all logic. And somewhere, someone was definitely holding a beer, ready to try something awesome. The Galactic Concordance needed proof. They wanted to understand humans completely. So they made a plan. A very weird plan. 10 humans would be selected, from different parts of the world, from different backgrounds. Each one would be watched, tested, studied. The selection process was strange. They didn't want perfect people. They wanted average humans, people who represented true human nature. First on the list was Park Jae-hyun, a 28-year-old mechanic from Seoul. He loved fixing things, but fixing things for Jae-hyun meant something very different from what normal people thought. Next was Maria Gonzalez, a teacher from Mexico City. She had a habit of solving problems in the most complicated way possible. Her students always said she could turn a simple lesson into an adventure. Then came David Thompson, a construction worker from Australia. He believed that duct tape could solve almost any problem, and he was mostly right. The list continued, each person more interesting than the last. The aliens created special environments. Each environment was designed to test human problem-solving skills, but these were not normal tests. These were crazy tests. The first challenge looked simple. Move a heavy object from one side of a room to another. But there were rules. No normal tools allowed. Only what was in the room. Jae-hyun looked at the room. It had a broken chair, some rope, a few wooden planks, a small cart with a broken wheel. Most people would give up. Not Jae-hyun. He spent 3 hours creating a complex pulley system. He used the broken chair as a base. The rope became pulleys. The wooden planks became supports. The broken cartwheel became part of his crazy machine. The alien observers were confused. Their notes read, "Human sub-GCT attempting impossible reconstruction." When Jae-hyun finished, he had created a working system that moved the heavy object, not in the easiest way, but in the most complicated way possible. The alien translation appeared. Unnecessary complexity, HFY. Maria Gonzalez faced a different challenge. She had to cross a simulated dangerous area. Most people would look for the safest route. Maria saw it as a puzzle. She didn't just cross the area. She created a path using random objects, a broken ladder, some old books, a piece of cloth, anything she could find. The alien observers wrote, "Risk ASCSSNENT, completely ILLBOJI. AO." David from Australia had the most crazy challenge. He needed to repair a broken communication device with limited tools. Most people would say it was impossible. David looked at the broken device, then at his collection of tools. Then he smiled. Duct tape became his best friend. 3 hours later, the device worked. Not perfectly, but it worked. The aliens couldn't believe their sensors. Human repair, miti kuki. Statistiki aloi impossible. Each human was different, but they shared something important. They didn't just solve problems. They solved problems in ways no other species would even imagine. The aliens watched. They recorded. They tried to understand. Each test showed the same thing. Humans didn't just survive. They survived with style, with creativity, with a complete disregard for what should be possible. The Galactic Concordance realized something important. Humans were not just another species. They were something else entirely. One alien researcher looked at the final report. His translation was simple. Humans, unpredictable, dangerous, incredible. And somewhere, someone was definitely holding a beer, ready to try something awesome. The Galactic Concordance had enough. They wanted to prove humans had limits. They designed the most impossible challenge in the history of space exploration. The challenge would happen on a special testing station, far from Earth, in deep space, where no human had ever been before. 5 humans were selected, the best from the previous tests. People who had shown they could do the impossible. Park Jae-hyun was there, the mechanic who could build machines from nothing. Maria Gonzalez came too, the teacher who turned problems into adventures. David Thompson brought his duct tape, ready for anything. Two more joined them. Lee Sung-min, a computer engineer, Rosa Martinez, a professional rock climber. The testing station was huge. It looked like a massive metal box floating in space. Inside were impossible challenges, challenges that would break any normal species. The first test looked simple: repair a complex machine with limited tools. But this wasn't just any machine. It was an alien technology that no human had ever seen before. Parts moved in ways that didn't make sense. Connections were weird. Nothing worked like normal machines. Most species would give up. Not these humans. Jae-hyun looked at the machine. His eyes moved fast. He saw patterns, connections, things that didn't make sense to others. Maria started organizing the tools. She saw the machine like a big puzzle. Each piece was a problem to solve. David pulled out his duct tape, because of course he did. Lee began scanning the machine. His computer skills worked in strange ways. He found hidden connections, patterns that the aliens didn't even know existed. Rosa watched. She understood how things fit together, how to move, how to make impossible things work. The alien observers watched carefully. Their sensors recorded everything. They expected total failure. Hour 1 passed. Nothing worked. Hour 2 passed. Still nothing. The aliens started to smile. They thought the humans would fail. But humans are weird. In the third hour, something amazing happened. Jae-hyun found a way to connect two impossible parts. Maria created a tool from random pieces. David's duct tape became a critical connection point. Lee wrote a computer code that made no sense. But it worked. Rosa used her climbing skills to reach impossible parts of the machine. Slowly, carefully, the machine began to work. The alien observers couldn't believe their sensors. Repair probability 0.000001%. Actual OUTCCOME. Complete SUCCSS. The first challenge was done, but the Galactic Concordance had more tests. The next challenge was even harder. Create a survival system in a completely hostile environment. No normal tools. No easy solutions. The humans looked at the challenge. Most species would cry. They started planning. Jae-hyun built machines. Maria found creative solutions. David used duct tape everywhere. Lee created computer systems from nothing. Rosa understood how to survive. Each challenge was impossible. Each challenge was completed. The aliens watched in shock. Their most complex tests were being solved. Not just solved. Solved in the most complicated way possible. One alien researcher looked at another. They are not just solving problems, he said. They are rewriting how problems can be solved. The other alien nodded. Humans are dangerous, he replied. They don't see limits. They see opportunities. At the end of the tests, the 5 humans sat together. Tired. Dirty. Successful. David pulled out a beer. Hold my beer, he said. The others laughed. The aliens shivered. That phrase, that simple phrase, it meant something terrible. It meant humans were about to do something incredible. And somewhere, someone was definitely holding a beer, ready to try something awesome. The Galactic Concordance thought they knew everything about challenges. They were wrong. Humans had a special way of doing things. When most species saw a problem, they stopped. Humans saw a problem and thought, how can I make this more interesting? The testing station became a playground of human creativity. Each challenge was not just a test. It was an opportunity to do something crazy. Take the communication challenge. The aliens wanted to see how humans would send a message across different types of space environments. They created a test that should have been impossible. Impossible for any other species, not for humans. Lee Sung-min looked at the communication equipment. Most people would use the standard tools. not Lee. He saw the equipment like a big puzzle. He didn't just try to send a message. He created a new way of sending messages, using broken radio parts, some wire, a piece of metal, an old computer chip. Lee built something new, something the aliens had never seen before. The message went through, not just went through. It went through in the most complicated way possible. The alien observers wrote, "Communication imicud. Statista que aloi impossible." Maria Gonzalez faced a different challenge. Survive in an environment with limited resources. Most species would carefully use what they had. Maria saw it as a chance to create something new. She didn't just survive. She built a small ecosystem. From almost nothing, a broken water filter became a plant-growing system. Some soil from a testing container became a small garden. Waste materials became compost. Within days, she had a small working environment. The aliens couldn't believe their sensors. Survival adaptation. Beyond expected parameters. David Thompson had the most crazy challenge. Repair a complex system with the most limited tools possible. David looked at his tools. Most were broken. Some didn't make sense. Duct tape was his best friend. He didn't just repair the system. He improved it, made it work better than it was before. The aliens called it Impossible Repair Protocol. Jae-hyun worked on machine design. He looked at broken parts. Where other species would see trash, he saw potential. He built machines that did things no one thought possible. A broken cooling system became a power generator. An old communication device became a complex tracking tool. The aliens watched. They recorded. They tried to understand. Rosa Martinez showed them something different. She understood how humans moved, how they adapted, how they saw challenges as opportunities. In one test, she had to cross a dangerous area. Most species would find the safest route. Rosa found the most interesting route. She didn't just cross the area. She created a path. Used things no one else would use. A broken ladder, some rope, a piece of metal. The alien translation appeared. Movie meant method. Does not co-impute. Each test showed the same thing. Humans didn't just solve problems. They solved problems in ways that broke all known rules. The Galactic Concordance realized something important. Humans were not just another species trying to survive. They were creators, inventors, people who saw limits as suggestions. One alien researcher looked at the final report. His notes were simple. Humans, unpredictable puro VLEM solviers. Risk is just ein uvar word for opp or humanity. Survival is an art form. The testing station became a legend, a place where human creativity was shown in its purest form. And somewhere, someone was definitely holding a beer, ready to try something awesome. The phrase "hold my beer" was no longer just a phrase. It was a promise that something incredible was about to happen. The day of the big meeting arrived, not just any meeting. This was the meeting that would change everything. Representatives from the Galactic Concordance gathered in a massive room. Bright lights shined. Strange machines blinked. The air felt heavy with tension. Dr. Yoon Ki Park and Jae Sung Kim sat on the human side. They looked calm, but inside, they were nervous. The lead alien diplomat stood up. His body was like a living crystal. He changed shape as he moved. Colors shifted across his surface. When he spoke, the whole room listened. "We have studied humans," he began. "We have tested humans, and we have come to a conclusion that makes no sense." Jae Sung leaned forward. Dr. Park adjusted his glasses. The alien continued. "Humans do not assess risk. You negotiate with probability itself." The room went quiet. Even the machines seemed to stop making noise. "Your species," the diplomat said, "is not normal. You do not follow the rules that every other species follows. When we show you a wall, you do not stop. You find ways around, over, or through the wall. He pulled up video screens. Each screen showed a different human doing something crazy. A person jumping between moving boats, someone building a rocket in their backyard, a group trying to move a heavy couch down a narrow staircase. "We have watched thousands of your hold my beer moments," the alien said. Each moment should have ended in total failure. Each moment ended with survival. Dr. Park smiled. He knew what was coming. The alien diplomat's body changed colors, from blue to green to red. This meant he was feeling many emotions at once. "Humans are a problem," he said, "but not the kind of problem we expected." More videos played. Humans solving impossible challenges, creating solutions from nothing, turning dangerous situations into opportunities. "Your species does not understand the word impossible," the diplomat continued. "Where other species see danger, you see a challenge. Where other species would stop, you keep going." Jae-sung couldn't help but laugh. The aliens looked at him. "You think this is funny?" the alien asked. "Not funny," Jae-sung replied. "This is just how humans are." The alien diplomat looked confused. His body shifted colors faster. Blue, green, red, purple. "We have a proposal," he finally said. "We do not know what to do with humans. You are too dangerous, too creative, too unpredictable." Dr. Park leaned forward. "And we want to watch," the alien said. "We want to learn. But we are also afraid." The room went silent again. The alien's final words were simple. "Humans are not a species. You are a force of nature." Outside the meeting room, the world continued as normal. People drove cars, worked jobs, lived their lives. They had no idea that an entire galactic civilization was both terrified and fascinated by them. Jae-sung looked at Dr. Park. Dr. Park looked back. "Sounds about right," Jae-sung said. The alien diplomat's last translation appeared on the screens. "Humans. Proceddyth maximum coercion. Risk is CSSMient. Impossible. Survival immediate. Unknown." And somewhere, someone was definitely holding a beer, ready to try something awesome. 1 year after the first alien contact, things changed, not just a little, a lot. The Galactic Concordance created a special category just for humans. It wasn't an invitation. It wasn't a ban. It was something completely new. Human HFY Sci-Fi observation species. Earth became the most watched planet in the galaxy, but not in the way anyone expected. Alien research stations appeared around Earth's orbit. They weren't hidden. They were completely visible. Massive ships that looked like giant crystal trees. They watched. They studied. They tried to understand. Dr. Yoon-ki Park became the main contact point, not because he was the smartest, but because he seemed to understand how humans and aliens could talk to each other. The first official document from the Galactic Concordance was strange. It read, "Humans are not permitted to join standard galactic exploration teams, participate in traditional diplomatic missions, use conventional problem-solving methods." Then it added, "Humans are permitted to exist, continue being human. Surprise us." Jae-sung Kim laughed when he read the document. "That's basically a license to do whatever we want," he told Dr. Park. Dr. Park adjusted his glasses. "Sounds about right," he replied. Alien ships began collecting data, not just from official sources, from everywhere. Social media, YouTube videos, local news, anything that showed human behavior. A teenager's skateboard trick became a scientific study. A cooking disaster turned into a research paper. Someone's crazy backyard invention became a galactic-level discussion. The aliens were learning something important. Humans didn't just solve problems. They created problems and then solved them in the most interesting way possible. One alien researcher spent months studying a single video, a man trying to grill a turkey using a blowtorch. Most species would see danger. This researcher saw something else: creativity, risk-taking, pure human spirit. The Galactic Concordance created special research teams. Their job was simple: watch humans, learn from humans, try to understand humans. But understanding humans was impossible. Every time the aliens thought they understood something, humans would do something completely unexpected. A group of students built a working rocket in their backyard, not for science, just because they could. A musician created an instrument from trash and old computer parts. It actually worked. Someone turned a broken lawnmower into a go-kart, not because they needed to, just because they wanted to. The alien classification became more complex. Humans, unpredictable problem solvers, risk is an opportunity. Survival is an art form. Earth became something special, not a threat, not a friend, something completely different. The Galactic Concordance had one main rule about humans: HFY maximum caution. Do not engage directly. Observe only. Alien ships watched. They recorded. They tried to understand. Humans continued living their lives. Most people had no idea that an entire galactic civilization was watching them, studying them, trying to figure them out. Dr. Park looked at the latest alien report. He smiled. Jae-sung looked over his shoulder. "What does it say?" he asked. The report was simple. Humans continue to defy all king and owen laws of probability. Recom and inundation. And somewhere, someone was definitely holding a beer, ready to try something awesome. The phrase "hold my beer" was no longer just a phrase. It was a warning, a promise, a threat to the entire universe. The last day came quietly. No big explosions, no dramatic music, just a simple transmission that would change everything. Dr. Yoon-ki Park sat in the communication center. Jae-sung Kim stood next to him. The room was quiet. Computers blinked. Machines hummed. The alien transmission began. At first, nothing made sense. Strange symbols, weird patterns, colors that moved like living things. Then words appeared. Simple words, but words that meant everything. "We surrender," the message read. Jae-sung looked at Dr. Park. Dr. Park adjusted his glasses. "Surrender?" Jae-sung asked. "Surrender to what?" The message continued. "We surrender our previous understanding of survival. Humans, you win." The entire communication center went silent. People stopped moving. Machines seemed to hold their breath. More messages came. "Human behavior, KNOTBPREDICTE, human survival methods, impossible to understand. Recom and inundation, observe, do not engage." The aliens had been studying humans for years. They had watched thousands of videos, collected millions of data points, ran countless tests, and they had learned one thing: humans were impossible. One video played on the main screen. A man trying to move a heavy couch down a narrow staircase. Any normal species would have given up. This human created a crazy system using rope, a skateboard, and pure determination. Another video showed someone building a rocket in their backyard, not for science, just because they could. A third video showed a person trying to grill a turkey using a blowtorch. Most species would see danger. Humans saw a challenge. The alien transmission became more personal. "Dear humans, we AAVSTUDIEDU. We AAVTESTEDU. We do not understand you. And we are not sure we want to." Dr. Park couldn't help but laugh. Jae-sung joined him. The message continued. Every time we think we understand humans, you do something completely unexpected. You do not follow or yours. You create your own. More videos played. Humans doing crazy things, surviving impossible situations, creating solutions from nothing. Your species is not normal, the message said. You are a force of nature. The communication center was full of people now. Everyone watched. Everyone listened. We have a PRUPOSL, the final message read. Everyone held their breath. Humans, continue being human. We will do a teach. We will learn. We will try to understand. But we know we probably need or will. The last line was simple. Humans win. Outside, the world continued as normal. People drove cars, worked jobs, lived their lives. They had no idea that an entire galactic civilization had just surrendered to human creativity. Dr. Park looked at Jae-sung. Jae-sung looked back. Sounds about right, Jae-sung said. And somewhere, someone was definitely holding a beer, ready to try something awesome. The phrase "hold my beer" was no longer just a phrase. It was a promise to the universe. Asterisk fin asterisk. #####. Epilogue. Classified notes. In the margins of the official Galactic Concordance Report, a hidden note read, Reef COMMEN Indation. Do note ANTURDUCE humans too. Few UA and TUM mechanics. Unlimited internet access. Each other in large groups.